My grandparents were, we lived in New York and were really involved in union organizing and like very, very swept up in the Communist Party. And then once it like was making it so hard for my grandfather to find work, and like the FBI kept coming and kind of leaning on his boss, they moved to California to try to kind of make it easier. But of course, it was just the same in California.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two places. And so now I have I have half my family in New York and the other half in California.
Okay. And you have also lived in Israel. Is that by choice? Do you have family there, or how did you end up there?
Yeah, and that's completely by choice. I come from a really, hence the communism. Like I come from this totally secular family, and there was no connection to Israel, and they're also very, very liberal, and so there was just no sense that I would ever go to Israel. But when I was in college, I decided to study abroad in Jerusalem, and just felt like so connected to it there that I moved like the day after I graduated. I moved back, and I did a lot of different jobs. I actually worked at an immigrant absorption center with Russian immigrants, and I also worked for a Palestinian Israeli human rights group, and I wrote grants.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then after that, I just basically, like, even after I came back to the States, it was just like I just sort of made it so that my life could be part of the year in Israel, and that's just the way it's been ever since.
Okay. So is that where you started writing?
No, I'm not really sure where I started writing. I think I was always, I was always doing it, and just I just never really thought I would be a writer. It just didn't seem like a job that like people act at unless you were really rich, and so I just like didn't ever think that I would be a writer. And when I was in Israel, it was interesting actually because I had taken a lot of writing classes as an undergraduate and was writing stories there. But when I was in Israel, it was like the second Intifada had just broken out. I was working for this organization, and everything was so stressful, and I was working so much that I just didn't have any time to write. And in a way, that was kind of good because I wasn't processing. I was just kind of like doing and just sort of moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like the year or two later that I started writing that I had all of this stuff that I could cull from.